She conceptualized and curated arts festivals, including Vijayotsav, the Hampi National Tourism Festival in 1995, which was taken over by the Karnataka government upon its success. However, it is her leadership and the passion she devoted to pioneering India's most prestigious arts festival, the Delhi International Arts Festival, that has given a new dimension and a powerful platform to India's cultural and diplomatic brand globally. Not surprisingly, Pratibha ji has served with distinction on several prestigious government committees. She was on the executive board of the Sangeet Natak Academy from 1998 to 2004, and as the convener of the Culture Committee of the Commonwealth Games for 2010, she designed the opening and closing ceremonies. Pratibha ji's contributions towards education include designing the dance syllabus for the NCERT and the MHRD's Master Degree Program online in 2015 and 2016. She has received the Karnataka Kalashri in 1997 and the High Karnataka State Government Rajyotsava Award in 2001. That same year, she received the Sangeet Natak Academy Award, and in 2016, Pratibha ji was conferred the Padma Shri Award. Her very important work still continues. She is the founder, chairperson of the nonprofits Prasiddha Foundation and Forum for Art Beyond Borders, as well as being the artistic director of the Prasiddha Dance Repertory. Pratibha ji, with eagerness to hear and learn more from you, we warmly welcome you today.
Thank you so much. It's my honor. So I remember my grandfather and my, being horrified when I told him that I want to be a professional dancer. And he would get me applications to appear for civil service exams sometimes. Sometimes he would say, you have to do your banking exam. And I would say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to be a professional dancer. And he was, very, very, very anxious and thought that I was wasting my life and that I would never be able to earn out of, being a performing dancer. It is not just the earning, I think, that that concerned them, but also the amoebic kind of nature of dance, of the profession itself, which they never understood. Because it's very amorphous, if you know what I mean, because there's not a steady career growth. You don't know what are the doables or the non-doables to reach your position, which is like kind of very transparent in other professions, or some professions at least, but not in the artistic profession. So I guess that amorphous nature of the profession is what bothered my parents and my grandparents, though they never stood in my way. They never said I shouldn't do it, but they really were concerned that I was doing it. So from there, we have come to a situation now where there are several professional dancers, and I think that's a wonderful thing to happen for India and for the world, because people have understood that they can, pursue their passion, and that they can be a fruition, at the end of that pursuit, that they can feel fulfilled in the field that they have chosen, that they're able to, also earn a decent living, a livelihood, and they're able to, kind of make a name for themselves. What hasn't changed is that people's perception of the dance hasn't changed, or dancers hasn't changed. A lot of people in government, in power, in corporations, in decision-making bodies still perceive dance as a nachna gana wala kind of a profession, and dancers and musicians as dancers and musicians, not as professionals who have worked hard to reach where they have, but nachne gane wale, that kind of a thing, which is like these are dancers and singers kind of a thing. And I think, a lot of our seniors and contemporaries, are kind of responsible for that, because dancers have always been apologetic about, who they are. They haven't really stood up for themselves. They haven't really, lobbied for themselves. They haven't formed a structure around which, they're speaking for themselves and getting their rights as to what is their right. I mean, like lobbying for their rights, which is what all industries do. They haven't been able to do it because they work in silos. And, if each one does something for himself or for herself, you do not have a group which can lobby for the rights. And to me, I think that is a very, very deep concern, because I'm forever saying that all of them, all the musicians and dancers and theater actors and backstage workers should come together on a single platform and make themselves into an industry, which can then lobby with the government or with corporations for their rights, for whatever their right is. Since we are not recognized as an industry, there's a lot of pitfalls. While we have a ministry for culture and we have directorates of culture in various state bodies, we do not really have a voice, a singular voice that can speak for us, right? And I think that is something which I'm deeply worried and deeply concerned about, and that is something that has kind of come to the forefront this COVID period, because while a lot of industries got a lot of dole outs, the culture industry or the cultural industry sector or the artistic sector got nothing. And while I lobbied for it right in March, April, when there was a lockdown, the money they gave out was like pittance, like 2,000 rupees per artist, 4,000 rupees per artist. Now you can't live for 10 months on 2,000 rupees or 4,000 rupees when there are no performances, there's no travel, there is zero security, social security, there are no health benefits, people don't have health insurance, they don't have travel, the travel, of course, was prohibited. And there are no performance venues. So what do artists do? Who do they go to? So then they are kind of reduced to beggary. It's almost like you're asking for things. You're not demanding that something is your right, because you're not an industry. And if you become an industry, and if you're if you're in an organized sector, you can fight for your rights. But if you're in an unorganized sector like the arts, as we are today, you cannot fight because you don't have a singular voice. And that's deeply, it kind of concerns me as to how professionals, young professionals, will be able to manage going forward. Point number one is IPR. The property right. I mean, the thing is the rights to your intellectual property is not something that is easy to protect in India. While the cinema industry, the film industry has been, managed to do it in the last 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. Like I again said, it has to be an industry. You cannot work in silos and protect your intellectual property or your artistic property, because again, you're going to be fighting for yourself in the courts. It's a long drawn battle in India. As you know, nothing gets settled in 6 months or 1 year. So you're kind of fighting a battle for years and years, on an intellectual property issue, and you get nothing out of it. You're just spending more money on, on lawyers and, advocates and wasting time going to courts. So it's it's a very, very, very troublesome issue. And this, in fact, it happened to me. I mean, I'm just going to give you a personal story. It happened to me in 2004. So in 2004, I got a call from the Ministry of Culture. Like I was, somewhere, and I just got a call, and they said, we're having the World Tourism Day on September 26th, and we'd like you to choreograph the grandest show that India has ever seen. And the budget is not an issue because it's a Ministry of Tourism thing, and we're giving you a thing. In fact, I had a performance tour scheduled in Rajasthan, about 15-20 performances at that particular time. So I told them I can't, because you're giving me 1 month's time to do the grandest show, and 15 days of this and of those dates I want to be in Rajasthan. So I don't think I'm the person you should be contacting, somebody else. But they said no. The minister has decided it's going to be you, and please cancel those Rajasthan performances. Please do this. So you will not believe it. I kind of canceled the performances in Rajasthan. I sat back in Delhi. So I did a show with about 100 artists, right? All top class professionals. It was called Panchjanya, the Sights and Sounds of India. So what I did was, between a choir, classical choir group and the Talavadya, which is the percussion ensemble, I kind of built 5 dance forms of India. It was not like a choreography where you're doing your Shiva piece or I'm doing my Krishna piece and then you're just coming together. It was not like that. So the same music group had to either sing. So they would sing in a choir, not like an individual solo kind of a singing. So it was like choir music, and then there would be one dance form that did on that music, and the other dance form did entirely on percussion. Okay, so I've kind of broken the dance forms as to what can perform only on percussion and that which needed the musicality of the for the performance to be kind of vivid and beautiful. So after this, the government changed in 2004. So in 2006, I suddenly realized that the same groups that had performed for me were performing for another dancer who was also part of my production, because this government had asked her to do a production. So she just taken the same group and she'd used the same concept and she had renamed the group. And she's a very well-known dancer, who was doing it. So I went to the minister, I complained, and I said that I was going to go to court against the government because this was an issue of IPR because I had put it together. At which point, of course, that minister was, empathetic, and she kind of, addressed the issue and said that this dancer and this choreography can't be promoted by the tourism ministry because it was already done by me, and it was a, rehash of the same thing. So she kind of cancelled it. But 1 year later, the minister was replaced by another woman who didn't like me. So she authorized another dancer, another famous dancer, senior dancer, to do the same thing like what I did. And that lady rehashed it. What did she do? She brought all of them together in the inaugural piece. She brought all of them together in the last piece, which I had done too. And in between, she made them dance their own numbers, like a Bharatanatyam dance, group dancing its own Shiva number. She had changed the groups. So instead of my Bharatanatyam group, it was Kalakshetra group. It was instead of Gitanjali Lal's group doing Kathak, it was Aditi Mangaldas or somebody. So things like that. And the dance numbers were different, okay? But the concept was the same. Now, I could not fight for that because what is it? I mean, where is the IPR for a concept? Where is the IPR for an idea? There is no IPR. And what will they say? They'll say, oh, this is a Shiva dance. It's choreographed differently. What's the big deal? It's my IPR. It's different. And this is something else, that's choreographed differently. And the order is different. But the idea of putting it all together was mine. And that was, it just went away. Just went away. The thing is, the idea was, my idea and my concept was unprotected. So it was just out there in the open, and people could pick it up and do what they want with it. And now, of course, there are lots of groups doing lots of, things and multiple dance styles, and they can do whatever they want, and there is no IPR. Coming to the solo IPR, which you've spoken about, it's zero, right? So a long time back in 1980s, when I toured US, I used to tour US every year for about 4 months. Some very innocent kind of a family told me that they was very happy to see me, and I said, "Ma'am, at dinner today we're going to play your dance." I said, "Oh, really? I mean, where was my dance recorded? They said, "Oh, ma'am, it was in Doordarshan on television. We recorded it, and the dancers, all the young dancers, they'll dance for you." I said, "They're going to dance my dance for me." I said, "Yeah, because they have learned that dance, in the US." So, yes. So I had a group of 20 young children dancing for me, my own performance, my own choreography, which they had recorded, which had come on Doordarshan, and they had recorded and they had learned it. Now, where is the IPR for that? And where is the remuneration or return or acknowledgement or anything? This, like I said, it was a very innocent kind of a family that told me that, and they thought it was an honor that they were presenting to me my own performance of my own production, which they showed mine and then they showed the kids. So that happened way back in the 80s, 90s, early 90s. Coming to now, what you're talking about, the social media. Does social media protect anyone's IPR? No, it does not. So, what we are doing is we're putting out a lot of content, just like you said, out there. in the clouds, and asking anybody who wishes to kind of view them or download them or subscribe to them, watch them perform, learn them. So there is really no, kind of a control over who sees your content or what they do with the content. There really is no control. You can say, yes, copyright so and so, copyright so and so, copyright so and so, the copyright, but where are the laws that protect that copyright? Where are the laws that are expeditious, which are fast moving, which understand the field of IPR, of artistic IPR? I don't see that. And then you say, okay, what you can copyright is your choreography. But I say, what is the choreography? It's the individualistic kind of dance. Anybody can copy. So if I'm doing Kapita Hasta and then that person, whoever is doing Ala Padma, he says, but I'm not doing Kapita, I'm doing Ala Padma for the same thing. How can it be a copyright? So you see, so the nuanced, even in a nuanced kind of a way, you cannot copyright your work. So it doesn't make sense. It has to kind of, be expeditious, fast. It has to have certain, protocols, which are inbuilt protocols, which are set in where you can fight for your right. You cannot right now. The space is very, very amorphous. It's not an easy space. Yeah. Resources available to equip you. One, because like you said, nobody trains you to be a professional dancer. They train you to be a dancer. I mean, you're learning your fundamentals, you're learning your items, you're a good dancer. So you're a good dancer. The teacher has trained you, has equipped you technically to be a good dancer. But the teachers do not train you to maneuver in the field or to figure out your way through the maze in the field, because the field is a maze. And it's like you never know why some people are successful and some people are not. You never know. There is no, like a step-by-step ground rule for success. Like I said that in the first time I spoke to you, the first question I answered. I said it's a non-transparent field because you never know why somebody is successful and why somebody is not. What is it that makes that person successful? What is that makes that person a celebrity? What is that a person, makes that person more equipped? So I must tell you something. When I decided to be a professional dancer, I had the same questions that you had. What are the resources? I know the performance. I'm now asking for performances. I'm going to government, organizations and giving them my application forms for Dasara festival or for some Ganesh festival or for some Ram Navami festival or something. I'm saying, I'm a dancer. I've learned from so-and-so. I've got 10 years experience. I've done my Arangetram. Can you please give me a performance? I've done that, right? And I'm sure most other dancers also have done it, but they may not speak about it. But of course, they have done it. And then, when you do that, and I used to wonder at that time also, why is someone successful? Why am I not successful? And things like that. Why am I not getting it? So I made a SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, I kind of took 4 successful dancers and myself, and I made a whole graph, everyone's strengths, everyone's weaknesses, and analyzing, and then the opportunities, like a total SWOT analysis. And I came to the conclusion that I have this, I have this, I have this, I don't have this, I have this, I don't have this. So whatever I didn't have, I tried to work on that. Like supposing, I didn't have a big name of a guru to kind of frame my dance. Then I went to Muthuswami Pillai. I went to Vempatishan Satyam. I went to Kaladi Narayan and I said, I am going to seek them out and I'm going to learn from them, because then I would have equipped myself as, in the big guru. I strengthened my knowledge base. I think that's very, very important to strengthen and to have a unique knowledge base, a unique combination of what you have, which you have to present to the world and say, this is what I have, this is what I know, and this is what, I'm good at. Second, I said, okay, what is it that I have which they don't have? And it was education, right? At that time, I had gone to, at those years, I'm saying my competitors had not gone to convents and their English was not good. Their deportment was not stylish like mine, and they were not able to communicate in the manner in which I communicated. So they didn't have the basic knowledge of communication. So I said, okay, so that's the thing where I on positive. So what should I do? Then I started organizing festivals in my city, in Bangalore, and inviting famous dancers. And I would put myself before a famous dancer and said, okay, see both of us, kind of. It was like a challenge to myself and a challenge to the world. So, okay, audience is like fun. I mean, here is the famous dancer, here is me, unknown me, young me. So see me and see her and say what, you like me, you don't like me, you don't. I became famous within 2 years. I'm just saying, in Karnataka, I was famous when I was 18 because of this, because I started organizing these festivals, started talking about it, started writing about it. And then I was good in communicating and I used my strength. So you have to know what your strength is. That's what I'm saying. It means dance is what you want to do. You do a SWOT analysis and see what your strength is, what you can do. How do you put yourself out there? How do you persist? You may be a very good writer. Start writing about it. You may be an extremely good speaker. Start speaking about it. You may be extremely good videographer. I mean, maybe your sense of aesthetics is fantastic. So you may be able to give a new dimension to the dance choreography because you're able to put yourself in unusual kind of, spaces and dance and interact with those spaces. Your own dance interacts with a very unusual space, and that may be your your strong point. So basic, like film, videography, creativity, I mean, there's a lot of things in the field which can add, which are resources which are not given to you, but which can add as agencies to support your own dance and your own persona. And that is something which you have to find intrinsically from within you.